decision isn't yours to make. Don't lie about the way things are. Tall tales will take you very far. Don't scoff when they say it's the end. In this life, you know you can't pretend. The days pass by, they've set in stone. But it's not too late now for you to change your tone. Don't speak, don't speak. Open your soul, don't harden your heart. Don't speak, don't speak. Open your soul.
Hey everyone, it is Friday. Today is February 7th and it is 6 p.m. We are coming on a little early today. It is Friday and I want to start my weekend. I know you guys probably have a lot of questions, so I wanted to make sure that we had that opportunity to talk to you. We've been putting out a lot of videos on social media, including YouTube and Instagram and TikTok, our Facebook page, and everywhere. So we're trying to reach as many active people as possible and debunk what Henry Garrido has been putting out there from District Council 37. So it's really important that when you see these videos, you share them, you put them on the unions, the websites. There's 62 unions in the District Council. Share the heck out of these videos because they're important. And it's not just me talking. We're citing and sourcing everything so that people just don't have to take us at our word. They can actually look at what we're talking about and why what's being told to them without being proven to them is what they should be believing. They're not even asking questions to the leadership. So it's important that when they see our videos and they know that we're explaining to them what the law is, Intro 1096, what the administrative code is, 12126, how it affects them as an employee, how it affects us as a retiree, and how then the two cross, right? So one of the biggest things that Henry keeps saying, well, Henry's actually got a couple of arguments, and I want to pull that up while we're chatting. In the meantime, we'll just say hello to everybody. Hey, Ellen, good to see you. Hope everything is good. Hello, Rose. Thank you. We try. Hi, Anne. Let's see. Hello, Gerald. Good to see you too. Marianne. Hi, Kathy. Hey, Janet. Great to see you all. So in part of what the District Council, Henry Garrido, Odette Tinio is putting out is these are their talking points. They're saying the bill jeopardizes their members and retirees' premium-free healthcare. No, actually, it doesn't. They jeopardized it. They did. Not our bill, not retirees, not people not in the union, not people not at the bargaining table, not people not in the negotiations, not people that didn't vote on their contracts. This whole thing has to be explained to them because active workers don't even understand why the heck they're in this situation in the first place. And many of them, to be quite honest with you, don't even know that they ratified a contract allowing this. So they're going to be equally as shocked as we were when we found out about this in 2021. They're still finding out about it today. They're not recognizing that when they were told, like, for example, when Henry said to the District Council employees, sign this contract, ratify this contract, don't worry. And we were screaming, wait, but number 5 says that their contract is predicated upon the MLC agreement. And we kept saying, what's the what contract? What MLC agreement? What are they telling you? And no one asked the questions. And then Henry goes up on Facebook and goes, don't listen to those people. They're crazy retirees. Don't listen to them. But meanwhile, their contract was predicated, their premium-free healthcare was predicated upon an MLC agreement that none of them even saw. And because the union makes it a practice not to share the contracts, only a summary, no one knew what the hell they were voting on. They just voted on it out of loyalty. And remember something too, in 2014, the United Federation of Teachers had their teachers ratify the 2014 contract. And it said that that contract was subject to an MLC agreement attached as Appendix B. But no one ever saw Appendix B. It wasn't anywhere to be found. And when they went to the meeting to go and vote to ratify their contract, no one had Appendix B. Nobody. And they just told them, well, it's just agreement for health savings. Don't worry about it. Just sign the contract. So they were lied to, even in 2014. So we've told you that in 2014, Michael Mulgrew set that pattern, right? By literally leveraging all of the unions in the city of New York, committing an improper practice, it is our belief, that he leveraged all the unions in the city and the retirees, of course, to finance his contract. Henry Garrido did the same thing in 2018. And I put that video up the other day showing both contracts, the 14 and the 18. So those are the goods, right? And whether or not they want to listen to it, believe it, whether their feelings are hurt from it, look, they did this. They did this, not a retiree. So they can't blame a retiree for them being in this current situation. They have to blame the pure leadership of their locals. That's what they got to do. Ellen, can we have the video truck visit the local district offices and surrounding areas of each city council member who's not supporting the bill, or at least park outside the big office building in Lower Manhattan where city council has their offices? It could run the videos you've created and also the names of each council member that doesn't support us. I'm actually designing those as we speak, actually. It's going to take me some time because it is time consuming, but I am creating those, Ellen. Don't you worry. Stay tuned. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. I know. Let's see. Oh, my gosh. Comments are coming in. Hey, Marie. Marie from Puerto Rico. Hola. Good to see you. Hello, Sherry from Boynton. Ellen, again, what Marian says is correct about the contracts lacking Appendix B. She foiled the contracts from OLR and the appendix was nowhere to be found. And actually, every contract that we foiled from OLR was all of them lacked the appendixes. We actually had to email the attorney handling the FOIAs and say, where are all the appendixes? And he still hasn't replied, and I still don't have them, and they're over a year old. I didn't hear about this until after I retired, stupidly voted the way the unions wanted to, and effing joke. Jean, I'm telling you, you're not alone in this issue. You're not alone. There are a lot of people that had this, that did this because we had no reason not to believe our union leadership. I mean, unfortunately now we're realizing what they did and that they didn't want it exposed what they did. But look, we were taught to be union loyal. We were. So I don't blame you for that. Normally we would have all said, you don't sign a contract without reading it, your car contract, your mortgage. But in this situation, we took union loyalty. We were loyal union people, just like everybody else is today. That's why they're not listening to us and they're listening to Harry, Henry, Michael, and all these other people, right? That's exactly why. Hey, Karen, good to see you. Not anything free in this argument, except that the city and Henry is prepaid premium through wage agreements as a future benefit. We get nothing free. Well, and that's the thing. They don't recognize that as an active employee, their premium is paid for them. As a Medicare retiree, we are paying premium up front and hope to get reimbursed 18 to 22 months later. So they're not understanding that part. One day they are going to be us and they're going to be like, what? I got to pay this out of my Social Security check? What the heck? And then they're going to realize that not only are they making 50% of what they're making today, And if some of these agreements that the unions make, they'll give you a pay index, I think, as one of the unions call it, but it's non-pensionable. And then all of a sudden, your pension drops drastically. Non-pensionable payments. You read that this week, right? So when that happens, and then the only thing you're entitled to is after so many years that you're retired, you will eventually be entitled to a COLA, C-O-L-A, cost of living agreement. Once that's in place, you're only getting between 1% and 3% of the CPI of the first $18,000 of your pension, and that's if you make $18,000. Okay. So like for people that make $18,000 or more this year, you got an annual increase of $324. That's it. Meanwhile, the unions are signing contract with $3,000 sign-on bonuses, some pensionable, some non-pensionable, 3% compounded wages, 2% compounded wages. We don't get that. And they still think that that's okay. And then, of course, they saddle us with these copays. And then they say, well, we can do this to you. You're going to just pay those $15 copays. But see, we are paying the copay as a form of a backdoor premium, but it's funding them. They are literally taking money from us to finance them. And I have to keep saying this because there's no other way to describe that. When we looked at the contracts show that year that they put in place the senior care copays in 2022, the GHI senior care premium to the city dropped. And then in 23, when we got that injunction, the premium went back up. There's a direct correlation. And so what they're doing, this is a backdoor premium by passing copays and deductibles, and there's nothing that stops them from doing that except 1096. Intro 1096 will stop them from passing copays and deductibles on to you, which funds them. That's why even another reason why passing this bill is even so much more important. Hey, Sherry. Hey, Janet. I didn't see Janet sneak in. Hey, Karen. Hello from Valhalla. Hey, Robert. Oh, yeah, I know. What a coincidence, Gerald. Are more people pounding their phones? Dr. Biza told a therapist. I know. As I tell you, I keep feeling like a therapist at this point. I have to keep coming on and saying all of these things that they're doing to us. Hello, Janice from Arizona. Hey, Susie. Yeah, no, you want to curse more? I curse every day. Very upset that city council is giving paraprofessionals a $10,000 payment. Well, they're not giving it to them yet. They were all called. City council was told, come outside. We're doing a rally to support para pay increases, but they weren't all given the reason why they were there and what it was about. When they got out there and realized that they were going around the collective bargaining procedure, look, paras need money. I mean, no doubt about it. There's a whole bunch of other titles that do too, but this is not the way to do it. This is literally an end run around collective bargaining. Yes, but somehow our bill, Intro 1096, when we're not in a union, is illegal. I know, WTF. I feel you, Ellen. Mulgrew made a remark at a town hall meeting that really insulted the UFT paras last night. He told them to take the $10,000 and go on vacation. He has no idea how hard it is for a para to exist on the salary that they get. They are pissed and vowing to get rid of him. Good for them, because I understand that struggle. Trust me, I do. Like I've said to you, my pension is $35,000 pension. I totally understand how sometimes it's hard to make ends meet. As an active worker living in the city of New York, they really have a struggle. And trying to give them a $10,000 increase, running around the collective bargaining process, and it not being pensionable doesn't help them. They have to stay on the job even longer to get pensionable increases. That's not a help. That's a hindrance. Gerald, frequently email all council members, their districts, and many of their staff to support the retirees and to sponsor 1096. My BCC group emails total approximately 125 individuals. Every time I did one, I would immediately receive a received back a number of automatically generated replies. When I sent one this morning, I received 0 replies back. Appears they have automatically deleted my emails to them. So, I think I know why I didn't go in and change. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to let you guys go in and change the subject line. I had a doctor appointment this morning and then back-to-back meetings. So I'm going to email you guys and tell you what to do to go around that. Hi, Lila. No, I didn't skip you. I see you. Trust me, messages are flying really fast. I don't catch them all. It's not a personal slight. You are Mona Lisa Vito. Hey, Vimy. Throw some FaceTime and wingman help. Okay. How do we get 1096 passed? Annoy the crap out of the city council members and their staffers. We may need to stop using Action Network and just give you all of their emails. And then every day you just send 1 million emails. That's probably the only other way to go around it. And if city council, you're watching, because this is being broadcast right now into Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube, you don't delete retirees' emails because we just double down and we send more. Let's see. Hi, Laura. Good to see you. Use the $10,000 to buy a dozen eggs. Well, you know what? One day they are going to be retirees, although city council members make like $150,000 a year. You know, it is what it is. I'm 65 in 2 weeks and need an operation. Both surgeons that I'll choose from take regular Medicare. If they take it from me now, I'm really screwed. I'm furious beyond measure. Well, you got a little while, Jean, before that could be a risk, so don't worry about it. Go do what you need to do and stay healthy. William, I changed the subject line today and didn't get a response. I never get a response from the council using Action Network. I'm thinking I'm going to change how we're doing it. So I need the weekend, though, to go in and look up some of that on how we're doing it. So what I may do is, well, I'll email you and tell you what I'm going to do. I just need to play with it a little bit. But they delete our comments on their political Facebook pages. So, Marianne, tell me, I want to know who. Who is deleting your comments? I want to know who. Announce it right here. I want to know who. Tell me which politician is deleting your comments? Hey, Frank. Janet, I've never gotten responses. Well, we just got to work on voting them all out. That's basically what we need to do. Oh, Justin Brannan. Justin Brannan will never answer them. He's running for higher office. He doesn't want to deal with you. He doesn't want to deal with me either. Don't worry. Although he robo-texts me asking me for money like every couple of days, and I just respond back to him, I'll consider donating to your cause when you consider supporting 1096. Like you said, I got your back, but he doesn't really have our back, right? When the council person says, I support you, ask them, how are you doing that? How do you support me? You're not on the bill. You're not doing an amicus. Tell me how you're supporting me. Supporting me would mean I don't have to spend my little pension fighting something that I already earned that you don't have the spine to help me preserve, that you should help me preserve because you legislated 60 years ago. That tells me something else. So, and then ask them which unions are sponsoring them, which ones endorse them, and then you'll get your answer. How is our brother Bentkowski doing? Can you send him our good wishes and prayers for his health? I know he's been struggling. He's the lead plaintiff of our upcoming Court of Appeals case, the nuclear option. Yes, he is. And I actually haven't touched base with him in a while. I will ping back to him this weekend. Hello, George. Good to see you. The para increases are long overdue, but how sneaky, not pensionable. To me, feels like another sign of ageism, the deferred kind. I know. You know what it is, too? And I don't understand why the union leaders are so thin-skinned. You call out their bullshit, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, I'm not talking to you anymore. Okay, serve yourself, because you're the only one that's going to suffer. It's not going to be us. We've been on the right side of history, the right side of the law. I'm not worried. So behind me, you're going to see, where am I doing this? The man of the week, actually. And you also see a sign behind me. Hold on. Sugar wants my attention. Say hi to Shug. Hey, Shug. So behind me is a sign where some of the unions, like we had a guy on our YouTube channel that kept saying that it's the retirees' fault that they're going to pay premium. And I said, no, it's not the retirees' fault you're going to pay premium. If you are going to pay premium, it's actually your leaders' fault, because they put everyone in this situation. So what does that mean? You've heard me say all along that the HIP is the benchmark. HIP HMO, the benchmark. Now, for an active worker under 65 retiree, they're both on the same plan. So HIP HMO is the benchmark. GHI CBP is the most popular plan. The last time we pulled numbers out of the city, HIP HMO is the benchmark, and it was only about, I think, 20-something thousand people were in the HIP HMO plan, 22,000 people, and then the rest of the people were in the GHI CBP plan. Understandable. It's a better plan in a lot of ways, but HIP HMO is the benchmark plan. What has the unions been doing in the Municipal Labor Committee? You've heard me say this as well. Suppress the benchmark. How do they suppress the benchmark? Well, they keep adding copays, adding deductibles. And every time they do that, it lowers what the city has to pay, and it passes more costs onto those retirees and employees in the HIP plan. It also then was pulling more money out of the stabilization fund that was paying that difference in premium if the GHI plan happened to be more expensive than the HIP plan. So now I'm already, and I've shown this to you in dozens of videos, and I can restart to redo some of them again. Since I think it's current, I'll start to do some more. Since they've suppressed the HIP rate, now the stabilization fund is empty because they've misused it. They imploded it. They used it for teacher raises in 2014, and then they kept giving up money to many of the unions along to pad their welfare funds. Well, and behind me, you'll see premium 2025, right? And if my math is right, and excuse me if I'm off by a couple bucks, I took the COBRA rates. COBRA rates are on the OLR website. That's 102% of the cost of the premium. Backed out the 2% administrative fee to kind of give me what that premium cost would be. So the first line you see is HIP, which is the benchmark, is $1,057 and change, right? That's the benchmark. Anything that's above that, you have to pay. Well, if you look over to the side over here, the GHI plan comes up as $1,092. That means GHI is higher than the benchmark, and that means you have to pay the premium on the active worker under 65 plan. That would equate to $35 a month. Now, because the stabilization fund has been in effect for all these years and it had money in it, that $35, whatever that money was, whatever, if there was a difference, whatever that difference was in the past, was paid out of that fund. Now, because Henry, Harry, Michael, the unions in the Municipal Labor Committee that went along with this scheme, because there were unions that didn't, imploded the fund, there is no fund to pay that red circle difference, which is $35 and change. That's a problem. So right here, you're seeing $35 and change is the individual rates. Right below it, you'll see family. The benchmark is $2,593 and change. And then you'll see the GHI plan, which is the most popular plan, is $2,800, and I think that's $72 and change, which leaves you a difference in that red circle is $278. Now, this is what the stabilization fund is supposed to cover for the family plan. Since there is no stabilization fund, right now the city is eating that. And this is why the unions are freaking out, because they destroyed the one fund that was designed to pay that premium. Not a retiree's fault. We had nothing to do with that. They tried to steal from us to fund them. Now, any active worker should be saying, they should be outraged, first of all, that their union leaders, some of them, agreed to steal benefits and privatize Medicare for a retired unionist, but then to implode a fund that was supposed to pay their premium. So when you hear Henry saying that first line, like when he says in one of his talking points, it could jeopardize our members and retirees' premium-free healthcare, it's their fault. Our bill doesn't do that. He's still trying to steal money from current retirees that are Medicare eligible to finance active workers and under 65 retirees. This isn't steal from Peter and Mary to pay Paul. This is wrong. And this has to be called out. This is what he's talking about when he's saying that. Now, drop down here, you'll see senior care. Again, the benchmark for HIP individual is $1,057. But the senior care plan, which only pays 20% of our health care versus the other two plans, the individual and the family rate, for both an active worker and an under 65 retiree, pays a full 100% of your coverage. The senior care plan, which is Medicare eligible, only pays 20%. And what is that cost? $223 and change, well below the cap, okay? So this is why we keep saying this last plan, by the way, the senior care plan, this plan isn't paid for by the stabilization fund. It's not paid for by the unions. It is literally a line item in the budget, and it's been there for 60 years. Why? Because it's so below the stabilization. It's so below the benchmark, it will not come out of stabilization. This is why the city will pay the full cost of health coverage up to the HIP HMO, which is what 12-126 says. It doesn't come out of anywhere but the city budget. That's it. Hard stop. So only jeopardy is this knucklehead agreeing as one of the 2/3 votes of the MLC to suppress the HIP rate, depleting the stabilization fund, allowing it to be used for teacher raises and a whole bunch of other crap that was only sole purpose was to pay this red circle, the difference in premium between the two plans. So if you're an active worker and under 65 retiree, you got him to blame for this. He's one of the dynamic duo that voted for this, as well as Harry Nespoli, and then convinced all the other unions to agree with him. This is why that point, when they say that our bill would jeopardize their premium-free healthcare, it's because they are looking to liquidate what we have to finance them. There's no other way of saying this, guys. This is the cold, hard truth. His next point is that it doesn't identify any source of funding. You saw my videos today. It's up on YouTube. It's up on TikTok. It's up on Instagram. It should be on Facebook, where 12-126 says the city will pay the full cost of health coverage. Our bill 1096 adds a little letter E at the bottom of that bill. It's funded, and it's been funded for 60 years. This is just putting it in writing because they used to be trusted that didn't need to be in writing. Now it needs to be in writing because they violated the cardinal rule. You don't screw retired unionists. And you don't screw retirees in general, because there's many retirees that are not union. They're managerial, and they were non-union titles. Let's see. Vicky Palladino actually responded to my personal email to her thanking for her. That's wonderful. And that's important to keep saying thank you. Let's see. Hello, Sugar. Sugar says hi. She's taking a nap now. FYI, Rob Spencer, OSA, never responded to my email asking Bob Krogan to submit an amicus for the Bentkowski case. Plus, apparently, they're less than thrilled that I asked to rejoin the OSA Retirees Association. Not even sure they cashed my check at this point. Not sure I really care. They didn't answer my emails either, or my phone calls, and I called Rob Spencer as well. Kathy O'Neill Napoli, my pension was reduced after 21 years of work due to a NICER's panel of incompetent doctors and admins. Try to hire a lawyer. I couldn't find one. After months, DC 37 tells me, oh, you can retire early since I have a permanent disability, which Social Security okayed right away, and my specialist wrote and sent the diagnosis and prognosis. So back in 2013, I had to accept a pension of $898 a month, and I was entitled to $1,600 a month. This is how the city and DC 37 screwed my life. I cannot stand or walk since 2012. Kathy, I'm really sorry to hear that. That's frustrating. I also had the same problem. Debbie DeLauro was running the pension office and was the labor chair on the pension board at NYCERS during my tenure. And I actually had to learn how to do pensions because I found their office absolutely useless. They never even replied anytime any one of us had a denial, and they didn't help us fight the system. They just were basic, sheep. Most active workers are not paying attention and are caught up with the union as their union reps in the school are misinformed, incompetent, and lazy, and they're given perks by the UFT. Yes, my dear, I'm aware those are your patronage jobs. Why can't he be arrested for theft? I don't know. I'd have to prove theft. Sorry, disagree. Young active workers only care about money in the wallet now. Don't look to future. Yes, I understand. I know our generation is very different. We prepared for our future. Mary Ann, do you forward your Friday updates and videos you do to the city council members? I don't, but you're free to do it on your own. I've got enough on my plate. I'm relying on you guys to do that. Mulgrew must also be sweating. Now his anonymous bloggers are claiming we need to prove that Mulgrew had his people lobby against the bill. Oh, we could do that, Laura. I could absolutely do that. I can absolutely prove the UFT lobbied against 1099, and I'm not sure I could prove in paper yet in 1096, but I might be able to prove it some way else. I actually overheard a conversation where Bridget Rain didn't even know I was standing in the vicinity of her, and it was Bridget Rain. I'm going to announce this right here. Bridget Rain is actively lobbying against our bill right now. I'm telling you right now, I was in New York City. She didn't know I was near her. I try to stay disguised, big sunglasses, so she doesn't see who I am, because she's always arguing with me or trying to interfere in a conversation I'm having with somebody else. So I had my hair pulled back. I had a hat on and big sunglasses, and she didn't even know I was standing near her. And I heard her talking to city council members, myself, lobbying against my bill. Now you have it. So now you know who it was. It's Bridget Rain, who's, I think, the assistant to Leroy Barr or whatever. So, haha, Bridget, now I know your secret. Yeah, I let your secret out. You can tell Michael Mulgrew it's Bridget Rain. Because if Michael's supporting us and Bridget is working as some rogue employee, maybe he needs to go tap the rogue employee on the shoulder and say, stop doing this. So if not, tell Mike to call me, because I'll tell him exactly what she was doing and what she was wearing that day. And I might even still have a picture of it in my cell phone, because I texted it to somebody else. Let's see. Listening to you explaining our situation, I really think that, Reddy, I think you might be running for UFT president under ABC. Sounds right to me. Are you ready? Because you would wipe Mulgrew. But see, Maya, I am not UFT. Remember, they call me the outsider. I am the outsider. They won't use my name, but I'm the outsider. They just don't like that I educate you all as to your rights so that you could push back on Michael Mulgrew. But don't worry, it's all right. Hey, Faye, good to see you. Hello, Mr. Blunt. Good to see you too. Can you try the improper practice route with OCB for some of our complaints? Ellen, I'm going to call you when this call's over. I've already filed an OCB complaint. They actually denied it, and I think that's what pissed off a few people today in the MLC. And I'll get into a little bit more of that, because we are going to take that to the next level and use all of the evidence that we have moving that on. But I'll call you after this meeting. So, okay, let's see what we got. Can we send Garrido a cease and desist letter telling him to stop lying to the council? You know, Gerald, I know you asked me that before. I will follow back up on that. There are a handful of young workers that are starting to get interested and get involved. I hope so. Let's see. Yay, the receipts are coming, UFT Bridget. But look, she has been so rude to me. Last year, I was literally standing talking to Tom DiNapoli. She kept popping her head up behind me like she was a bug. And she kept interfering in the conversation I was having to the point that he literally said, Marianne, call my office. I need to get away from her. And he walked away. Like, it was completely unprofessional for her to start an argument. This was in Somos, by the way, where she started an argument to shut me up and stop me communicating with Tom DiNapoli. That's what she did. And she's never stopped that. Everywhere she is and she sees me, it's like I definitely make her uncomfortable. So I would just like, but the other day, I just stood there and listened, and she didn't even know that I was there. And she didn't know that I overheard her conversation. So yay me, happened to be in the right place at the right time. Outsider, like the nickname that what TWU gave me. Yes, I'm Marianne Pizza Face, according to your former union president, which is very funny. Can we seriously have Adrienne Adams investigated, or it's a pipe dream? I don't know. I guess I could work on that when I got more time, Jeanette. Let me go through the rest of the DC 37 points. So the other thing DC 37 has been telling elected officials is that it doesn't identify any source of funding. I already told you that it's a little letter E at the bottom of the bill, which of course is still funded. Our supplement is still funded. It's always been funded. It's been funded for 60 years. The intent of the city council and the mayor in 1967 was to give everyone free health care, right? And be paid for by the city of New York, which it technically still is. So the third point they're telling me he's saying is that it's unlawful under the Taylor law and the New York City collective bargaining law, which I've told you in multiple videos is not true, because we are not in bargaining units. We do not collectively bargain. We are not in unions, and that our bill doesn't violate anything. Literally, it's like we are like the guinea pigs that they passed a bill to protect last year, or where some non-entity that belongs to anyone, like where the flower pots that Eric Botcher keeps wanting to put on the road, right? Where like the bike lanes, or where the trees that they want to plant. Like, we don't belong to any organization. We don't belong to any union. We don't belong to any group. No one takes care of us. No one lobbies for us. No one does anything for us but us. Our bill doesn't do anything to interfere in the unions. Nada. So if you saw the videos that talks about collective bargaining and it talks about the New York City Taylor law, I did these videos where I showed you the definition of who those two laws affect. Employees, employed by an agency employer. That doesn't describe a retiree. It describes an employee. The New York State Taylor law and the New York City collective bargaining law. But don't worry, there's more coming on that. And then it violates their right to collectively bargain. No, it actually doesn't violate their right to collectively bargain. They can bargain all they want. What we are doing is preserving a floor that's been in place for 60 years, and we're saying, don't rob us blind. We used to be able to trust you. Now we can't. We actually have to codify this in law because you've been robbing from us and then playing a game like you're the victim. No, you're victimizing us. And this is why it's important to put that in a law to codify it in case these people are still around and then they try to steal from us more. So those are the arguments that I'm being told that the unions are giving the council. And many of the council members are laughing their ass off when they're getting these calls from the union presidents and the union members saying that they'll go to them, well, have you read the bill? Do you even know what it says? And they're like, no, but Henry Garrido or Odette Tinio told me I'm supposed to call you and tell you don't do this. And they're like, well, did you read the bill? No. Do you know what it says? No. Do you know who it's for? Those retirees. And they don't even know what the hell they're calling for. And they don't even realize they're working against themselves. So, and this became a whole nother issue when Lee Saunders started putting out more information about how attacking the administration, attacking the government, attacking Project 2025, which you keep hearing us talk about, which I would love to forget about ever, but they keep saying this. And so we have to remind them, if you're so against this, dude, why are you implementing the default plan of Project 2025, pushing us retired unionists and then employees, future healthcare benefits into the default plan of Medicare Advantage? And we keep saying this. And then they all shut up because none of them want to listen. I bet you they didn't even look at it. So we have to keep saying this to them. Go back to our videos. The one I did this afternoon is only about, I think, less than 15 minutes or about 15 minutes. I did it as quick as I could. Intro 1096, 12-126, and how the bill is funded. It puts them both together. And then if you read 1096, no one in their right mind would say this is bad. Union leaders from DC 37 were calling me going, why is this so bad? I'm like, it's not. He's lying and fear-mongering to you. So some of them are definitely listening. Ex-City Hall aide Mohammed Bahi to plead guilty to funneling illegal donations to New York City Mayor. Really? When is that? I haven't been on social media today other than running around and doing those 2 videos. Tom DiNapoli isn't the sort of an ally on the state level. He is tight with RPEA. But Serena, RPEA was supporting us, and they were also at the rally in April in Albany with us. So that's not quite right. Chat, everyone, please hit the like button and share to friends so the algorithm can push this video out. Yes, please like, everybody. Hit like. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Blunt. I appreciate you. Like and share so that this video goes far and wild. Is Adrienne violating any council laws by preventing our bill from getting to a hearing, or can she do anything she wants? Well, she's not supposed to be preventing the bill to be coming from a hearing. She's not supposed to be. So I can't tell you why she's doing that. She's just brazenly violating the rules of the council, and Carmen De La Rosa is allowing her to do it. That's all I could tell you there. Can you link that video to comments? Mayo, which video do you want? They could just correct it and blame de Blasio. Everyone hates him anyway. Solve it and move on. Garrido needs to. Well, absolutely. I absolutely agree. But, following Garrido orders. And so, here's the deal. Michael Mulgrew allegedly walked away from Medicare Advantage. Why isn't Henry doing it as well, or the MLC doing it as well? They should just follow Michael Mulgrew's footsteps. I'm not, going to be like his cheerleader, but he walked away. Why haven't the others walked away yet either? Can't tell you. But yet Henry's going to blame potential premium on retirees when this was exactly his fault. If this happens, because right now the city is paying this, and the city by contract, by union's contract, doesn't have to pay for that. So if there comes premium, it's coming because of this. It's coming because if it does come, it will come because they imploded the stabilization fund. And by the way, that's another reason why they're passing copays onto Medicare eligible retirees. They need to suck more money out of somewhere in order to keep financing active workers to reduce the cost to them so that they can stay in office. There should have been no reason why they passed cost onto a Medicare eligible retiree making fixed pensions. None. But they did this to extrapolate more funding. And I'm going to tell you right now, active workers, keep listening, because every time I say this, you guys blow this off. Every single time your copays increased under GHI or HIP, it's because this union leader with a group of others negotiated them onto you. I showed you those documents the other day. And here they are again. Every single time the MLC would get together to go negotiate, and this was done in 17, this was done in 18, and they want to increase the copays. So they'll talk about increasing the GHI deductible would give them $57 million. If they increased the deductible from 100 to 200, 100 for individual, 200 for family, it would give them $49 million. If they added $200 a person GHI deductible, $109 million. You always hear Henry talking about tiering hospitals. If they tiered hospitals, a half-year impact would give them $71 million or $142 million for the full year. Changing in-network inpatient copays from $300 to $500 for Blue Cross Medical and Beacon Mental Health, with annual costs capped to the American Care Act maximum for Blue Cross, currently $2,600 for individual, $5,200 for family, and Emblem currently $4,550 individual, $9,100 family. The current max is $750. That meant they were going to take a family plan and put a $9,000 deductible to you. Would give them another $7 million. In-network hospital outpatient surgeries changed the copay from 20% coinsurance and a $200 annual maximum to 20% coinsurance, a $1,000 annual maximum. An existing maximum out of pocket for Blue Cross was $2,600 at the time that this document was written, $5,200 family. No change to copays for outpatient surgery, $32 million. This is what your unions are negotiating. It's not the insurance plan that's putting these in effect. It's Henry, Harry, Michael, and then Gloria, Greg Floyd. All of these leadership is passing these costs on to unions. So they're saying, well, we got you a raise. We did 2%, 2%, 2%, compounded with a $3,000 sign-on bonus. But they're not telling you, you just paid for it. So this is the disgusting hard truth, guys. I have to keep saying this because I when I got these documents, it blew my mind that literally our own unions are telling you, you got a raise and there were no givebacks. That's what you got. And they're negotiating more. By the way, they're currently talking now for active workers and retirees still, eliminating all your choices of plans, forcing you into one, and they're still talking about doing away with Medicare B reimbursement. So they're still looking to screw us in another way. They have to protect their futures. And we're just going to keep suing them if we have to. I mean, I don't even know how to keep saying that. That's why it's important to keep doing fundraising and making sure that there's cash in our kitty, because if there's not, we're not going to be able to keep suing them. This is what they want, clearly, a challenge. And I'm up to that challenge if you guys are. They need to make a new deal with the city and stop this MA insanity. I know, Gerald. It's nuts. Patricia, I don't trust Mogu. I don't trust Mogu. I don't trust any of them. Is there any way we can ask for another emergency court stipulation to stop the copays until the court hears the case? I don't think so, because one of the bases of that injunction was that the contract didn't permit it. They reopened them because the contract did. So GHI Emblem is being hooked into NYU Langone or Maimonides Medical Center is really great care. We can strengthen it, improve it. The city blows $600 million a year on all kinds of silly nonsense. Ensuring that we can get quality people to be police officers or school teachers is money well spent. John, you're not going to get an argument from me. I totally believe that. And that's also a reason why still today we are like 20-something thousand people short in the city of New York as employees, because they just recognize there is no reason to work for the city of New York. Not only are they underpaid, they're overworked. The city treats them like garbage, and then they steal from you once you're retired. Who would want to work for the city? I mean, I don't blame them. Ellen, donate. Yep, I know. Keep doing what you guys are doing. It's working. So we're pulling up on an hour. I want to end this here, guys. I really appreciate everything you have all been doing. It is super important that you keep those calls going, keep those emails going every day. I'm going to open up the subject line, change the subject line of your email. Every time you click that Action Network, change the subject line to something else, and I don't care what you set it to. It doesn't even have to make sense. Like some of you were asking me, why does it say luncheon? Well, I was trying to change it like every couple of hours so it wasn't getting caught in a filter. You change it. If you're listening to this message, you change that message. You change what you have to do to change the subject line of that email every time you send it out. I don't care if you put on shopping list, you put on Henry Garrido's name, you put Adrian Adams' name, you put whatever you put on it, put something on it, and then just send it out. And just every time you send one, change the subject. That's how you'll go around what they're doing, because what they're probably doing is setting up a filter to catch your emails and put them in the garbage like Joe Borelli did to us last year. So until I can come up with a better idea, keep changing the subject. The subject line is what's getting captured in the filter. All right, guys, you all have a wonderful weekend. and keep doing what you're doing. Thank the moderators for everything. It's important that we keep on this fight. Remember, who we're fighting is them, not each other. And enjoy yourselves. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you Monday. All right. Ciao.
Don't speak what you don't understand. The truth is not in your command. Don't shout about what you think is fake. The decision isn't yours to make.